What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Eternal Hoops. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. I'm going for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. Something that's probably going to be pretty hard to do because we only have 13 right now, but I think if I continue grinding, it's possible. And comment down below who you think's going to win in the Clippers-Suns series. I got the Clippers still, even though they're down 2-0. We all know what happens normally when they're down 2-0, so that's who I got. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to go through some of your takes. And yeah, let's get into the video. The first take I have for you is Ben Simmons would still be bad even if he had a jump shot. So I followed him up with this, and I wanted to clarify what he meant by bad. And by bad, he meant not being a top 5 to 8 point guard, which I put in some point guards in a list, and I think that means that Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, James Harden, Chris Paul, Trae Young, Russell Westbrook, and De'Aaron Fox are all better than him. So if you're looking at Ben Simmons, his major weaknesses are obviously his shooting, but more his aggressiveness, which also leads him to be a significantly worse playmaker. He's still a good playmaker, but with his passing ability, he should be in the conversation for the best playmaker in the NBA. So let's say you add an average jump shot to him, which makes his only weakness his aggressiveness. I mean, would that even improve his scoring? He would still refuse to take inside shots and probably would still take 1 to 2 threes a game. And does that mean he would still just be a 15, 8, and 8 player? Okay, now's the point of this tape where I completely debunk this completely. First of all, we have to get this out of the way. Ben Simmons is already a top 8 point guard. Anyone who says else either thinks he's 9, which is cool, because I could see Fox being better right now. But if he's not there, you guys are just listening to the media way too much and falling for recency bias. I get it, he had some terrible games, but I think everyone's forgetting that after the regular season, he was 6th on Bleacher Report's top 10 point guards, and a ton of people thought he was 5, only behind Dame, Steph, Luka, and Harden, who are all in the next level. And after Game 2 and Game 3 of the Hawks-Sixers series, Simmons was considered by most better than Trae Young by completely locking him up. But after Game 4, 5, 6, and 7, he played terribly on offense, and his defense seemed to get worse, not doing as much on Trae Young at all. So, I mean, he does deserve to drop a couple places in the top point guards list, but that definitely doesn't deserve to drop from 5 to 6 to 12 to 15. So now let's say he has a jump shot. A jump shot, first of all, does not make him a liability on offense anymore. If he can shoot now, the spacing's better, and even if he's still 15 to 8, an 8 player, he's not a liability on offense to his other teammates. And I personally, maybe just a little bit of my bias or a little bit of my take, but I think he's going to gain enough confidence to where with a jump shot he's a 28 and 8 player at least. And I think he may even be 25, 11, and 6 if he gained more confidence, and potentially with a serviceable jump shot he could easily be a 30, 12, and 8 player. Also, by averaging more points, that would make him a better playmaker because he would be more of a threat on offense. And that just makes him a complete player. He's average at shooting, which is fine. Arguably the best defender in the NBA. Can arguably be the best playmaker in the NBA with enough confidence, and elite finishing. At the low, he would be the 3rd best point guard, only behind Steph and Harden with 28 and 8, and would not be a liability at all. And with a lot of confidence, he could easily, this might be a little bit excessive, but he could easily be the best player in the NBA. He's a complete player. If he just is willing to, attack the basket, shoot threes, then I could easily see him being the best player in the entire NBA. So I think this is an absolutely terrible take and probably the worst one we'll see. So the next take I have for you is that Steph Curry should have been the MVP. So, as we all know, the MVP was Nikola Jokic. Jokic averaged 26.5 points, 11 boards, and 8 assists on 56.5, 39, and 87 splits. And he did finish 3rd in the West. The Nuggets finished 3rd in the West. Steph Curry, on the other hand, averaged 32, 5.8 assists, 5.5 rebounds on 48, 42, and 91.5 splits. But the Warriors only finished 8th in the West and lost in the play-in round, so they didn't even make the playoffs, really. I think that Curry is the more valuable player to this team because that Warriors team without Curry is the worst team in the entire NBA, while the Nuggets without Jokic are definitely not the worst team in the NBA. I think Curry has a bigger impact on the Warriors. But one of the biggest criteria when you vote the MVP is winning games. And you compare a guy that didn't make the playoffs, comparing the other person who finished third in the West, it's kind of hard to say that Curry could win because his team played terrible. And Jokic's team played amazing. So my take on this is that Curry is the most valuable player, but Jokic does fit the criteria, so Jokic is really the MVP. But, I mean, the criteria is kind of sketchy, so I kind of think that Curry should have won the MVP. But it's not really a toss-up, it's just deciding on, do you care about the criteria or not? So I think this is a pretty good take. Let's go on to the next one. So the next take I have for you is that Devin Booker is the closest player to Kobe Bryant. So let's take a look at both their careers. As we all know, they were both the 13th pick in the draft. Another thing I have to mention, I'm pretty sure he's only talking offensively because Kobe's obviously a lockdown defender and Book's kind of a liability there. Booker is 205 pounds and 6'5", while Kobe's 212 and 6'6". But I think there's theories that he's closer to only 6'5", so they're really close in size. Booker's stats in the sixth season per 36 was 27.2 points per game, 4.5 assists, and 4.6 rebounds. Kobe's per 36 was 23.7 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, and 5.1 assists. So now looking at the shot chart and efficiency, in their sixth season, this season for Booker, he shot 48.4% from the field and 34% from three. On the other hand, Kobe shot 46.9% and 25% from three in his sixth season. So Book is significantly more efficient from three. Also, Devin Booker shot significantly more threes than Kobe Bryant. He took 373s out of his 1,286 shots, or 28.8% of his shots were threes. Comparing to Kobe, he shot 129 threes out of his 1,594 shots, or around 8.1%. Another thing that you can mention is that Kobe did shoot significantly more shots than Booker, but I think that was more because he averaged a good 4 more minutes a game. So for the mid-range game, Booker shot 538 mid-ranges out of his 1,286 shots, or 1.8% of his shots were all mid-ranges. While Kobe, on the other hand, shot 916 mid-ranges out of his 1,594 shots, or 57.5% of his shots were mid-ranges. That's kinda, but not really that similar. So for 3-point and mid-range, it's not really close for shot selection. For the inside shots, Booker shot 378 inside shots out of the 1,286 shots, or 29.4% of his shots were inside shots, and Kobe shot 549 out of 1,594, or 34.4% of his shots were inside. So that one is way closer than the other ones. That's only a 5% difference. Even though percentages are kind of far off for threes and mid-ranges, if you adjust for era, Kobe shot a ton of mid-ranges for his era. And Booker also shoots a ton of mid-ranges for his era. Most people in this era only really shoot threes and inside shots. If you look at Zach LaVine's shot chart or Bradley Beal's shot chart, Paul George's shot chart, they only shoot inside shots and threes. Also, significantly less threes were shot in the 2000s. So I mean, overall, they have a pretty similar body frame. They were both picked 13th in the draft. Booker definitely averaged a couple more points than Kobe in his per 36 stats. And Kobe averaged a little bit over 1 rebound and 1 more assist than Booker. If you're adjusting for era, Book shoots a ton of mid-ranges just like Kobe. And the inside shots are very close. The three is different, but it makes sense due to the era. Overall, I think this is true. Offensively, Booker is the most similar player in the league to Kobe Bryant. So those are all the takes I have for you in this video. So I'm probably going to start doing like a series of just rating every single, not really rating, going over every single player from the 2019 draft class. Well, every single notable player. I'm not doing all 60. And I'll probably be doing that till the NBA season starts. I'll obviously have other videos coming out as well. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, please subscribe and like the video. And again, comment down below who you think is going to win, the Suns or the Clippers. And that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.